Hi there, I'm Emer Ní from KCLR, and I'm delighted to be with you today to host the inaugural Kilkenny Community and Voluntary Awards. Start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. These are the words of Arthur Ashe. He was the only black man ever to win the singles title at Wimbledon, the US Open and the Australian Open. If you think of these sentiments and what's behind them, many of you, the people being honoured for your inspiring work in communities across County Kilkenny, are already putting them into action. You're our local heroes. You don't have huge budgets, staff, consultants on call. We're in the middle of a global pandemic. But what you've done is you've focused on what you can do, where you are right now, and you're not worried about what you can't do. You're not afraid of hard work. You're proud Kilkenny people who believe in your local areas, and you're determined to make them better places for everybody. A chuoine uaisle, tá fíor fáilte ribh gach aine atá linn don ócáid speisialta seo. I hope you have a nice cup on tea at home and you're settled in to watch our ceremony. Today we're celebrating the inaugural Kilkenny Community and Volunteer Awards. I'd have loved to have met you all in person to congratulate each and every one of you, all of the nominees, on your achievements. Sadly, we all understand the reasons that we can't do that in person right now. There are so many challenges, but it's important to shine a light on the inspirational work that you, the volunteers across County Kilkenny, are doing right now, and to recognise your efforts. I've loved finding out about all of your organisations. The awards are focused on groups, not just here in Kilkenny City, but right across the county, every corner of the county. And it's wonderful to hear what's happening in our villages, in our townslands, because it's our rural communities that are so important. And these areas often are overlooked. They don't get the same investment as the major cities and the urban areas. So we're very lucky to have people like you putting the areas and the spotlight on communities like Winegap, Ferrybank, Kilmacow. It's also incredible to see what volunteer-led projects we have running in Kilkenny City. We've had so many achievements in the area of mental health, supports for those with cancer, groups who promote diversity in our community, the arts, and so much more. There are many groups that won't be mentioned at this event. However, you know who you are. I've had the pleasure of meeting many of you in my day job presenting the morning talk show on KCLR. I've met lots of you. You're never found wanting. So back to Arthur Ashe's words of wisdom. You start where you are, you use what you have, you do what you can. A chuoine uaisle, gur míle maith agam as ucht an sár obair ar fad. Tá anfáilte ribh gach aine atá linn anseo, tá míad in san óstán Ormond, and I'm delighted that later we'll be talking to Cathaoirleach of Kilkenny County Council, Fidelis Doherty, and our Mayor, Andrew McGuinness. We're getting ready for the important part of the proceedings now. You probably don't have the goonas and the bling on. You might have the slippers on, that's okay. And hopefully you'll enjoy finding out lots more about the various groups and organisations and all of the work that they're doing in Kilkenny.
Hello everyone, and first of all, just to say congratulations to all the recipients and nominees for this evening's Community and Voluntary Awards in Kilkenny. As a volunteer on many groups and organisations down the years, and certainly as a volunteer in the very first iteration of the Community and Voluntary Forum in Kilkenny, I truly value volunteerism and all that it offers the community from an environmental, from a social and a cultural perspective. And all of you who are involved in volunteering in your communities are doing invaluable work right throughout County Kilkenny. And I think that's why these awards are so important. And I want to thank Kilkenny Public Participation Network, Kilkenny Volunteer Centre, and all of the other participants, including Kilkenny County Council. All of these actions are as part of the National Volunteer Strategy. I think it's critically important that we continue to support volunteerism because it is much more important now, more than ever, when we look at the big challenges that we have ahead of us in climate and biodiversity, but also in our social interaction, in cultural activity. So there's a great opportunity, I think, for us all to work collectively through volunteerism and through supporting volunteerism to ensure that we have an active network in County Kilkenny. So these are important awards, and this is an important night for all of you. I want you to enjoy the celebrations. It's unfortunate that we're online this year, but all going well, we might be able to meet in person very soon. And certainly, I hope that next year's awards are an in-person celebration of all that's good in volunteering in Kilkenny. So I wish you all the very best. Cogordagus, Díobh Galéir.
Now we're joined by the Mayor of Kilkenny, Andrew McGuinness, and Councillor Andrew McGuinness. We're delighted to be here celebrating this evening. Now I know you're a little lonely because everybody is watching at home rather than being here with you. However, it's great to recognise the efforts of ordinary people in the community, volunteers who've made such a difference.
Yeah, and it is difficult, I suppose, in COVID times to have events like this, but it's great to see them happening in a virtual way and to be able to acknowledge the fantastic work that volunteers do carry out in Kilkenny. So it's a great platform for us to do that, and I'm honoured to be here as Mayor to participate in it.
As Mayor, you know about lots of these projects already, Andrew. You come across individuals. I'm sure you're constantly surprised by the efforts of people. They'll do anything to make a difference in their town, in their village, in their city.
Absolutely, and I do think that Kilkenny is unique in that we have such a desire and a willingness from so many people to try and do better and make a positive difference in their local communities all over the city and county. And when you're in a position like Mayor and you're invited to different things like this event tonight, People of the Year awards, and to different communities around the city and around the county when I was Cathaoirleach, you get to see the huge amount of work that people put in and groups that you may not have heard about that carry out work under the radar behind the scenes, and they're not up there looking for credit or anything like that, but they're carrying out outstanding work, helping vulnerable people, elderly people in all of their communities, and it's just fantastic to see.
It's great. There are everyday heroes, like you say. They're not all known about. Some of them are little known people, but they're quietly doing something that makes a huge difference, whether that's litter picking at the side of the road, whether that's encouraging us to be more sustainable or running their local community centres.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic, and I see it every day when I'm driving home from work. I live in Park na Gowan, and I see the Keep Kilkenny Beautiful guys out, and they're always out regularly keeping the whole area clean. And you see it under the radar, and you see it around Kilkenny City and County, the amount of work that people are putting into the different projects. So I don't know how people can pick winners in all of these different categories. It's amazing the amount of people that are doing this kind of good work that go unnoticed. So it's a very, very difficult task. I don't envy the judges or how this is actually decided on.
It was a tough job. It was definitely a tough job for the judges, so we're told, and they had great things to say about all the people involved. Andrew, if you had any advice as Mayor for the community groups that sometimes are working under the radar, there may be supports there they aren't availing of. We have the volunteer centre now set up in Kilkenny. We have the Kilkenny PPN. Any general advice for them?
Well, come forward and make contact with the volunteer centre and with the PPN. Kilkenny County Council supports all of that as well. And there's different grants within different communities for different projects that people could avail of that might make a real positive difference to the work that they're doing and assist them into progressing that along. So I would advise people to come forward and, don't hide behind the radar too much. We know you're out there doing great work, and come up and tell us, and we'll do our best to help you as well.
Well, we hope Santa comes to everybody in your household, and we'd thank you for being with us here this evening, and Nolly Conna.
Thank you, and can I wish everyone a happy Christmas and thank everyone for participating in this and all the great work that they do. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, this is so exciting, Mags. Delighted to be here with you, and amazing to be at the inaugural event, the Kilkenny Community and Voluntary Awards. I know you're really proud of everyone's efforts, and you're delighted to celebrate with them in their achievements.
Absolutely, Emer. We were bowled over at the amount of applications we got for the Community and Voluntary Awards, which is an indication in itself of the level of, community spirit and volunteerism that is here within Kilkenny City and County. We had over 60 applications, and of course we had to narrow it down to 3 finalists and an overall winner in each category, with 8 individual categories overall. So it's been a fantastic time, up until now. And we're really looking forward to meeting with the winners and presenting their awards.
We surely are, and I know from the response so far from the people who you've talked to as well on the phone in anticipation of tonight, they're very moved by the fact that there's an award ceremony. These are unsung heroes in our communities. They're right across Kilkenny, stretching all the way to Ferrybank in South Kilkenny and all over the county. So it's a really proud moment, I think, for those groups.
It absolutely is. And I mean, the day-to-day work that we undertake in the PPN is obviously working with community and voluntary groups across a variety of sectors, including environment, social inclusion, and then the wider community in itself. And, you know, we have an eclectic bunch of organisations and groups in Kilkenny, and we really need to celebrate it more. We talk about the hurling a lot, but we don't talk as much about the amount of time and energy people give so willingly and freely to their communities. And particularly because the last 2 years has been, you know, quite difficult for us all. We are a social animal. We're used to getting out and about and integrating. But nonetheless, you know, projects were still being undertaken and activities were still being undertaken, albeit slightly differently. And quietly. And I think, you know, the time has come for us to celebrate our volunteers and just have a little bit of a shout out to them and give recognition to that whole sector, because without volunteers, you know, we wouldn't have our communities, and without our communities, we wouldn't have Kilkenny.
Well, we want to say Cogordicus to all of those volunteers. They're just incredible people, great characters as well, and part of the fabric of our rural and urban communities as well. So we really look forward to hearing their stories, Mags, tonight, and seeing their faces when they get their awards.
That's it. And can I just say, I want to say a big shout out and thank you to everybody who obviously put in their applications to the Community and Voluntary Awards 2021. You know, you're doing fabulous work, and you know, you're a winner in our eyes. Obviously we had to have an overall winner in each category, but as far as we're concerned, everybody is a winner. And I just want to say, keep doing what you're doing, keep flying the flag for your community and for your organisation, and we look forward to working with you.
And Mags, you've had incredible support from the business community as well. As always, they've really stepped up to the plate. I know obviously yourselves in the PPN have been wonderful, and the Kilkenny Volunteer Centre, but the businesses out there and the individual entrepreneurs out there in Kilkenny have been great to support you.
They absolutely have. We were bowled over by the response that we got from the business sector, and I just want to thank each and every one of them for their support. We couldn't have done this without them. Obviously, we would have liked to have a physical event, but as everybody can appreciate right now is not the time for that. So in the absence of that is why we're doing the awards online. But also, you know, not just our business community, but Kilkenny Local Authority and the Department of Rural and Community Development rode in behind us as well. So I would like to thank them for their support.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Mags, and we hope everybody really enjoys the show.
Thanks a million, Emer, and delighted to have you with us here tonight. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Up first, we have the Arts, Culture and Heritage category, which is sponsored by the Design and Crafts Council Ireland. This award recognises groups and organisations who enhance their local areas by conserving, protecting and promoting the arts, culture and heritage in their community. The runners-up in this category are the Kilkenny Welcome Team. Huge well done to them. They gave everybody a céad míle fáilte coming into Kilkenny. Also, Alliance Française de Kilkenny. Congratulations. Now I'm delighted to announce the category winner for this first award is Butler Gallery. The judges commented that Butler Gallery promotes art to the communities of Kilkenny and beyond, and volunteers are at the heart of everything they do. It's such a beautiful space that they have now as well at Evans's home, and the volunteers, the judges said, freely gave up their time for the love and promotion of the arts within Kilkenny and to share their knowledge with visitors to the gallery. A big congratulations to Butler Gallery and to all the volunteers involved.
My name is Pauline Swain and I am the Visitor Services Manager at Butler Gallery. We are a contemporary art gallery with a museum accredited permanent collection of mostly Irish artists that date from 1840 onwards. And my role here in the Butler Gallery is to lead the Visitor Services team, and a very important part of that team is our volunteers. So our volunteers are very important to us here in Butler Gallery because they help us with our visitor services experience. We have a diverse and eclectic group of volunteers, and they range from doing 3 hours to 9 hours every week, but they also help us with the many events that we run here in Butler Gallery. We moved into this beautiful space during a pandemic last year. And also as well, we ran a successful and safe and welcoming gallery during that time. But also as well, to move from the basement of Kilkenny Castle and finally have our own identity. And also maintaining the same standards under the leadership of our director, Anna O'Sullivan, that people have come to expect from Butler Gallery.
My name is Josette Tierney, and I'm living in Esteeg, and I volunteer here every Thursday morning from 10 to 2. I've been doing it for the last couple of months, and I've really enjoyed it. It has built up my confidence, and I've met lots of interesting people. I must say within the team, I feel very cherished, and Pauline has encouraged me and made me feel, I suppose, part and involved with everything that was happening. And for me, I suppose the reason that I took on volunteering was that my grown-up children are all out of the country, and it was quite lonely at home. And I felt I needed to get out and do something interesting and give something back as well. And as well, that the one thing about volunteering here, you don't feel pressurized if something happens, if you're sick or, there's such a group of people involved that people back up, and Pauline never makes us feel bad if we cannot get in or if something happens. But yeah, I'm enjoying it and I feel committed to it as well, which is important.
Hello, my name's Alex Meldrum and I'm a volunteer in Butler Gallery, and I come usually on Wednesday afternoons. I wished to volunteer for Butler Gallery, I think initially, because I came to Kilkenny in the late 70s and Butler Gallery was just always there. It was relatively new, and I would have gone on a regular basis to see, most exhibitions. So it's just been a stalwart of Kilkenny, I suppose. Obviously it's the art world. I've recently retired, so I wanted to keep my hand in, stay connected a little bit to the art world. You feel very, very appreciated. You feel very respected. You're not considered a lesser person at all. I don't think you need a huge amount of knowledge of the art. I think it's people are volunteering for different reasons. I suppose I wanted to give something back. I wanted to stay connected, and I've said I'll do like one day a week. Like I've committed to it rather than saying, "Oh, when you need me" type thing, because then it's in my routine, and I look forward to Wednesdays.
So if you have an interest in art, if you like to meet people, if you want to work in this incredible heritage building that you're all standing before this evening, if you also would like to work with a vibrant organisation that has been a bedrock of the arts community here in Kilkenny for many, many decades, come down and see us. Send us an email, pick up the phone and ring us, write us a letter. We will be more than welcome and more than happy to have you here and join our wonderful, incredible team. So when we won the award, we were so delighted, we were thrilled, but also as well to have that recognition from our volunteers for being in this building for the first year and to get that recognition of their hard work and all the dedication that they have shown to Butler Gallery.
Next up, we have the community category, and fair play, Fran Grinsell Properties sponsored this one. Thanks, Fran. The award recognises group and organisations that provide a valuable service to their local community to ensure a good quality of life for all. Let's hear who the runners-up are. Hillsfield Community Centre, Ferry Bank, well done to you. And also Kilkenny Bereavement Support. Again, heartfelt congratulations to our runners-up. There can only be one winner though, and the winner of the community category is 1 Million Stars project. The judges commented that the 1 Million Stars project demonstrates the true value of community, the connection of people from many walks of life, engaging with over 100 volunteers from a multitude of ages and backgrounds, very diverse, inclusive nature, and the positive work they're doing made them a worthy winner in this category.
Hello everyone, my name is Lisa Morris and I'm the manager of Amber Women's Refuge. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the Kilkenny PPN and the Kilkenny Volunteer Centre for coming together and bringing us the Community and Voluntary Awards. We are absolutely delighted that Amber's 1 Million Stars Ireland project has won the Community Category Award. Working alongside Siobhan McQuillan, our project lead, volunteers both in Kilkenny and up and down the country are the lifeblood of this very important project. We now have voluntary star weaving communities in 15 counties across Ireland, working with Siobhan and the core team of volunteers in Kilkenny. Without you all, this project would not have been possible. Our youngest star weaver so far has been 5 years of age, the eldest being 89. We are so grateful to each and every one of you. This award is for you all. Thank you.
My name is Siobhan McQuillan and I'm art therapist and project lead with the Amber Refuge 1 Million Stars Ireland project. So our organisation, it's a community-based arts project that connects people through the craft of weaving stars. Each star represents light, hope and solidarity against violence. And we raise domestic violence awareness by holding public star installations like the one you see today in the Design Centre courtyard. Our volunteers are crucial to this project because basically each single star that you see is hand woven, and all of those thousands and thousands and thousands of stars that you see in solidarity against violence have been woven by volunteers who give their time and energy, and it's not just weaving stars, it's help with putting together the installations, helps with putting together the star weave packs so they can be sent out to other volunteers to weave stars. So really volunteers are crucial, and it's a real kind of testament to the power of volunteers. This project would not really happen without them. We have all types of people who volunteer with us, a really broad range of people from TY students to youth reach to, we have a Syrian women's group. We have the ICA, the Irish Country Women's Association, and lots of individual weavers in their own homes who kind of stay connected, and we stay connected particularly during lockdown by weaving the stars. So there's just a really broad base of volunteers. So our biggest achievement, and I am so excited to say that we have just announced we have reached 100,000 stars for the whole of Ireland, which is amazing. And that we are in 18 counties now, and so that's volunteers across the whole of Ireland, which is really amazing. When you're part of this project, you can weave for your county, for your community in your county, but you're also weaving stars for Ireland, for the whole of Ireland, because we want to reach 1 million stars for the whole of Ireland, 1 million stars to end violence. And you know, you can email us. Our website is 1millionstars.ireland.ie, and there's a registration form there. And then with yourselves, they can register at the Volunteer Centre. But yeah, just come forward, just be part of it.
My name is Stella Coughlin and I'm a volunteer with the 1 Million Stars.
My name is Connie Jordan and I started volunteering at the beginning of the pandemic in 2020.
We sat out in Connie's garden one afternoon, a beautiful sunny day, and we weaved a star. And I watched Connie and I rang Siobhan afterwards and I said, she's going to be a star weaver because the stars that Connie makes are absolutely perfect.
I would just like to thank everybody. The number of volunteers are just too numerous to mention individually, but I feel everybody's been amazing. I'd like to thank Lisa Morris, the manager of Amber, who always believed in the project and was always very supportive. And just thank you to all the weavers out there. You are all amazing.
Now we have the next category. It's the Health and Active Communities category. This category is sponsored by Glanbia, great Kilkenny company, and the award recognises groups and organisations who encourage healthy communities. The runners-up are St Senan's Athletic Club, Kilmacow, and the Thomas Hayes Trust. Two fantastic organisations. Well done to both groups. But the winner is St Christopher's Cancer Care Transport Service. And if you haven't heard of this service, well, it's so important for many people, and many families will be aware of it in County Kilkenny. The judges said that it was set up in response to gaps in services in cancer care transport. It's entirely volunteer-led. The group are going above and beyond. They give up their free time, they support each other, they support the most vulnerable people in our communities, and they're volunteer heroes. They're truly worthy of this award.
My name is Sharon Kelly, and I'm from St Christopher's Community Ambulance, and we're kind of branching out more into cancer services, so more, I suppose, ambulances and maybe jeeps that will actually be able to go as well. We set up our organisation in 2019, but we really only got on the road in late 2020 when we got the donation of our first ambulance. So as the chairperson of the group, I kind of do everything from making sure that we've got good governance, staff training, making sure the maintenance of the vehicles and that the vehicles are good and in good operation. So what we do is we bring people that can't get themselves to cancer care appointments. So the ambulance was set up a little bit differently because there's a lot of patients that need that extra help going to the appointments, so they need to lie down for the service. So let's say somebody had rectum cancer, they can't sit down for the journey, so they need to be able to lie down, and they may need a carer then in the back with them. So we have a group of volunteers that will just do the back work, and then we have a group of volunteers that will actually do the driving, so we can get them from A to B. So then we extended the service out to the hospitals and hospices of a palliative care transfer, so bringing cancer patients home to their loved ones, so really for end-of-life care, and to bring them home with a bit of dignity and a bit of as good of the atmosphere as we can make it for them to get home and to be with their loved ones. Volunteers are the whole bones of the organisation, because if we didn't have the volunteers, we just wouldn't be able to run. So we've actually got a really good array of volunteers, and we've really special volunteers as well, because we have volunteers that do full-time shifts in the ambulance, in the Defence Forces, in the Navy, on Garda Síochána, the fire service. They actually do their shifts and give us their days off. So we work off on a roster between us all, and we see who's free on the day, and they do the heavy work. They usually do the driving and the long runs and things like that. And we've a group then of, well, the same group, and we extend the group a little bit more in the back, where your only qualification to go in the back is that you can care for the person in the back. So we've got healthcare students, nursing students, we've got EMTs, student paramedics that do the work in the back as well. So without them we just couldn't do it, but they are the most special group of volunteers because they work full time. Most of these actually guys work full time. A lot of people thought that when we set up the service it would be retired personnel, but the guys that came forward were actually the guys already doing the big shifts. So when they get their 5-day off run, they usually give us a day on that 5-day off run, and there's about 60 of them that do that, and they keep the whole thing going. Our biggest achievement, well, this would have to go down in the history book as our very biggest achievement. We've only ever won an argument, I think. Yeah. So we've never won anything. So this is actually our biggest achievement. Our second biggest achievement was we got funding for a new ambulance, and at the moment we're running a fundraiser to do the top up to meet we didn't get the full amount, so we're trying to fundraise for the full amount, and that will be our very first new ambulance on the road. Because at the moment we're kind of taking ambulances that are second hand and need a lot of patchwork, and we do be doing rosaries going up the road to make sure that they stay going to get to their destination. So that's our second biggest achievement. When we heard we won, we couldn't believe it, to be honest with you. We thought it might be a little mistake, because we even felt honoured that we could even go for the award. But the fact that we won it, we're still in shock, to be honest with you. We can't believe it. Until we actually get the award in our hands, we still won't believe it. I'd like to dedicate the award really I suppose, specifically to the ambulance service, because I couldn't have done this, or I couldn't have got here without seeing what I saw by working in the ambulance service. But more so, there was the most famous man that I've ever met in the ambulance service, well, famous to us, because the whole way through this process he encouraged us and told us not to quit, and that would be Christy Power, and we named the ambulance service after him. He doesn't know this will be the first time it's been revealed, but St. Christopher's, when we were trying to name the ambulance, we wanted it to be for a saint that was still alive, that was a modern day saint. So Christopher Power, who's actually a fleet and estates manager of the ambulance service for the South, and that's who we dedicated it to. Yeah.
My name is Marisa and I'm a volunteer for St. Christopher's Community Ambulance. I had a bit of a personal experience with seeing cancer treatment going on, and it's definitely something I could give back to. And yeah, it just brings joy to give back to people that need it.
Our next category is the Environmental and Sustainability category, which is kindly sponsored by 3CEA. This one recognises groups and organisations working to enhance and develop their community from an environmental perspective, and those who strive to make their communities attractive places to live. Very competitive category. The runners-up are Keep Kilkenny Beautiful and Callan Community Energy CLG. Congratulations to our runners-up, but the winner of the Environment and Sustainability category is Ferrybank Allotment Project. And I think our judges were very impressed by everything that they've seen in Ferrybank. They talked about the sheer amount of projects, the community involvement, the future plans of the Ferrybank Allotment Project. It's very impressive. It's not just about growing plants and flowers, it's about communicating and bringing people in, and mental health and well-being is at the forefront of everything they do. Well done to everybody involved in Ferrybank Allotment Project.
Hi, I'm Therese Kern. I'm the Community Development Officer for Ferrybank, and I work with Kilkenny Leader Partnership. And I work with different groups here in Ferrybank, one of them being the Allotment Project. I nominated the Allotment Project for the Volunteer Award because of all the work that they do, not just here, but also in the community. And the allotment over the years has gone from just gardening and working with people with intellectual disabilities. Over the last couple of years, and particularly with the introduction of the sensory garden, it has now become a place for people to come and to look after their well-being, and particularly during the time of COVID. And so that other members of the community get to benefit from all the hard work that the volunteers put in up here on the allotment. And in the summer or in the spring, it is absolutely a fantastic place for people to come and to sit. And especially during COVID, when people were feeling isolated, locked down, had nowhere to go, they were in the 5K restriction, there wasn't a lot. You know, people could come up. There was always somebody here that social distance, but you know, it was like talking to your neighbour across the fence. So just given all the work that this group has done over the last few years and their commitment to their community, that's why I had to nominate them.
My name is Francis Paul Malone. I'm the chairperson of the Allotment Project, and I was in the army for a great number of years, and you never volunteered for anything. And I carried on my life that way till I came to this. And Kieran Welsh, Miriam Cass, it was myself, John Maroney, and a few like that. And it was a miserable, bleak February morning, Sunday morning. and we stood in the middle of a big mucky field, and out of that came what was there. One of the good things about the project is that you shut up and listen. It's amazing what you can learn when you do that. And let other people talk. And it kept me alive for years. And from it grew the allotment, piece by piece. It all didn't happen in the 1 year. Money was a great problem. And a lot of promises, a lot of begging. And hardly enough needed of the more successful. But eventually we got there. Great help given by Trey's fantastic work. I can't praise her enough.
Hey, my name is Paul Stone and I work here at the Ferry Bank allotment on a voluntary basis. I'm on the committee up here. The Ferry Bank allotment project is basically a group of 40 allotments with a community garden attached, which works in conjunction with Bellmount. They come up and use the sensory garden, and sometimes they help us around the allotment as well, and we give them sandwiches and stuff on there. It used to be before the COVID, and it will happen again. So it's all kind of linked together, and anyone from Ferry Bank is welcome up here as well. And it's a great place to be if you want to just potter around, bit of peace and quiet, plant a few spuds maybe or whatever. It's fantastic. I think the biggest achievement is working with the guys over there in Bellmount. I think that's the biggest achievement, because as we do the garden, we complain sometimes, all the mowing and growing, all the hard work that goes into it. But when you see their faces when they sit in that garden in the summer, it makes it all worthwhile. Well, I would like to thank Paul Malone for giving me the opportunity and for all the work over close to 15 years now and holding this place together and upgrading. And, you know, and we plan on getting a cabin up there with eco toilets in there for the girls. And hopefully it just keeps evolving, and hopefully more and more of the community, which don't know it's here, like, will come up and will enjoy the garden and the space and the scenery and all the rest.
Our next category is social inclusion, and this category is sponsored by Kilkenny Leader Partnership. The award recognises groups and organisations that work to minimise social exclusion and help to improve the quality of life for people who are socially excluded often in the community. The runners-up in the category are L'Arche Ireland, very well done, and Fáilte Isteach in Kilkenny City. Well done to both groups. There can only be one winner, folks, and I'm thrilled to announce the winner of the social inclusion category, and I know firsthand of the amazing work that they're doing, the Twilight Community Group. The judges say they have a real ethos of inclusion. They focus on immigrants, ethnic minorities, disadvantaged groups, disability groups, youth, LGBTQ+, senior citizens, you name it. There's such a range of activities there, lots of plans for the future, and Twilight is a worthy winner. Huge congratulations to everybody involved there.
Hello, my name is Martin Brennan and I am the chairperson of the Twilight Community Group. The Twilight Community Group works on 3 pillars, that's inclusion, integration and solidarity. We work across all the different communities, that's including the Irish community, LGBTQI+, our traveller community, but also our new communities that have made Kilkenny their home. Volunteers are very important to our organisation because they've become the backbone of all the work that we do. We look at it in the areas of that they look to connect back with communities. It also allows them to re-energise themselves and also re-engage, for some kinds of volunteers have stepped away for some time. And finally, it also can allow them to get back into employment.
Hello, my name is Nicholas and I'm a volunteer in Twilight Community Group Kilkenny. I work with the Twilight Youth Inclusion Group It is a very important project as it aims to increase inclusion in the youth community. Inclusion itself is one of the key pillars of Twilight Community Group, as it has an impact on all of us despite our age, gender or nationality. And I am very proud and thankful to be able to take part in such a wonderful and useful project. I was always interested in politics, and coming into Twilight and coming into the Polish consulate, I wanted to get a bit of a taster of politics. And I'm very happy that I did, because it was probably one of the best decisions I made in my life. Where we are standing now is basically where all the magic happens. This is the space where we meet up with the youth club. We meet up here every Saturday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. We do workshops such as doggo therapy, first aid. In the future we will be creating our own podcast, and the kids will be writing for a local newspaper. Recently we did doggo therapy. That was the first workshop that we did in our youth club. We did it with a lady called Dagmara. She brought in a doggy, a Cocker Spaniel, and we wanted to break a stereotype because the dog is a big black dog, and as Dagmara said, most of the people are scared of these kind of dogs. It was a rescue dog. Dagmara rescued the dog 5 years ago. 5 years ago the dog would bite you, and now he was playing with us, you know, and everything. So it was great for the kids to have that kind of privilege to be here and experience it.
We've now come down to the Twilight European Network Studio 10 and also to our Media and Training Centre. What it is we will offer a facility to all the different communities. It makes it such a socially inclusive unit, whereby each one of the communities, will say the South Sudanese or African communities, Bengali, Indian, Polish, Romanian, all the different community groups we work with, they will come here and they can now start at the beginning. We will have facilitators and trainers here that will take them from basically using a laptop, how to construct an actual program, how to construct that script, all the way through to actually producing and sending out, and we will broadcast the finished article then on the Twilight European Network Studio 10 YouTube channel. And that's a facility that we want all the community groups to get involved in. So you basically will have weekly podcasts by, we'll say, the South Sudanese or the Polish or the Twilight Youth Group, Youth Inclusion Group, and it'll be by them, for them. We're going to show everybody's heritage, their history, their culture, and other people by tuning in can also see, as I mentioned earlier, the similarities between each one of the communities. Any reward, it's great to receive them, because it means that the people who are the volunteers, their work has been rewarded. So when Twilight is recognised as getting something for social inclusion, it means that the policies and the ethos we have of communities are stronger together is working. So we would like to thank every single volunteer that has come through the doors here in Twilight. So we'd like to thank all our funders, we'd like to thank all our Board of Trustees and all the members of Twilight that are involved with us since we started and today. To name any would probably be wrong of me, because I'm sure that I would probably leave somebody out.
Now on to the sixth category. We're really flying through these. It's the social enterprise category. It's sponsored by St. Canice's Credit Union. Now this award recognises groups and organisations who endeavour to improve the economic welfare of their communities by initiating, managing, developing social and community enterprises. The runners-up in this category, and well done to them all, Community Radio Kilkenny City. Buddy Bench is our second runner-up, well done. And the overall winner, I should say, of this category is Winegap Community Development. They've been working so hard over the years. If you haven't been to Winegap recently, folks, it's well worth a visit. There's been a lot of support from the wider community, not just the local community, for the project there. It's had a huge benefit socially, environmentally. It's had a great impact on citizens in the locality and the wider community as well. So keep up the great work, Winegap Community Development.
My name is Michelle O'Brien and I'm a director with Windgap Community Development and a former volunteer.
I'm Kathleen Moran. I'm also a board member with the company. I suppose Windgap Community Development is an iteration of community development groups that have been in the parish for many years, and over the years a lot of wonderful things have happened in the parish. This particular group came together a number of years ago with the intention of redeveloping what was then a very old community hall, which had fallen into disrepair and definitely wasn't up to scratch for the needs. So a group came together and looked at the options basically, and I suppose it evolved over time as opposed to having a definite plan from the beginning. I think, would you agree? You know, and I suppose I think initially I don't think any of us envisaged how well everything would turn out. I mean, this wonderful service and this wonderful centre has evolved from an awful lot of hard work over a number of years by a lot of people, and including the board of management, but also lots of other people in the parish who got involved and supported and dug out foundations and helped in any way they could. So we now have a community centre that incorporates a sports hall and a multi-purpose hall, the tea rooms and kitchen and shop, which is really busy and really well appreciated, and lots of plans. And we have a meeting room where courses and all sorts of things are happening now, and lots of plans for future development are in the offing at the moment. So we were probably just getting going when COVID hit. I mean, the community hall end of things opened, I think, December 2019, and all of the local sports groups, the GAA and badminton and indoor hurling and so on, were happening there, and lots of classes, like we had dance for children, we had exercise classes and so on. So it was a busy place. The tea rooms opened the following summer, 2019, wasn't it? So 2018 we opened the hall, yeah. And about 6 months later the tea rooms end of things opened, and was flying from the start, I would say. And it opened solely on the shoulders of volunteers. There were no paid staff at that stage, and we put a call out for people interested to get on board, and we were flabbergasted by the level of people who came, said yes, we want to find out more and we want to get involved. So from that, a core group of volunteers were regular people who ran the tea room, did the cooking, ran the shop, served the customers, and then there was a wide group who came when they could.
As Kathleen said, it was literally a kind of day by day, week by week. It was a totally new venture, but with the amount of fantastic women and men that are in this parish coming on board to help, to guide, to give a hand with the smallest or biggest of jobs, unbelievable. And you know, for such a small parish, we have the biggest heart, I think, in the county, because nothing was too big or too small for anybody, and nobody kind of felt, you know, they were the boss. So it was very, very equal, I found, and I think that's why we all got along so well. And really important to mention, we really had the crack. It's a great fun place to work. It really, really is. Always a laugh. No matter what was going on with you at home, you could come in, leave it behind, and you were assured of a great day out. Well, if anybody was thinking of volunteering, I would say don't hesitate. You know, I suppose the beauty about volunteering is if it doesn't suit you or you feel it's not really what you wanted, you can, you know, step back and say, sorry, that wasn't for me. But I think that the benefits hugely will outweigh, and we'll all doubt ourselves hugely. That's just the nature of human beings. We doubt ourselves, but it's the support of everyone else around you, and it's that can-do attitude, and to come from nothing to where we are today is purely because of that. And everybody helps everyone along and feeds into the can-do approach, I suppose.
There isn't anyone, there's everyone. I think so many people have gotten involved in this. It would be impossible to thank anyone in particular. So everybody that's been on the committee currently and previously. I suppose all of the staff here, we now have staff and we have a manager, so it's wonderful the potential that's bringing to the future, and all of the volunteers.
Now on to the 7th category, and this is the COVID-19 Group Support Award, kindly sponsored by BHP Insurance. And this recognises groups and organisations that actively worked to support communities during the pandemic. The runner-up in this category is the Irish Red Cross Kilkenny branch. So well done to them for all the hard work over the past 21 months and still going, so fair play to them. But the winner, and I know so deserving considering the extraordinary efforts, the driving people, for instance, to the vaccination centres, the works in the background, Catherine and her team have been amazing. So well done to Kilkenny Civil Defence. And our judges noted all the supports that Kilkenny Civil Defence had put in place. So they supported, they assisted during the pandemic, they ensured the volunteers were also well supported. So huge congratulations to them.
My name is Catherine Peacock and I'm the Civil Defence Officer here in Kilkenny Civil Defence.
And my name is Michelle Coakley and I'm the Assistant Civil Defence Officer.
Civil Defence is a volunteer-based organisation and is one in each local authority in Ireland, and we're supported by the Department of Defence. Our job is to be emergency ready to support the principal response agencies, that's the Gardaí, the Fire Service, the local authority and the HSE. And I suppose we have lots of different units within Civil Defence. So we have a search unit, that's both on land and in water. We have a medical unit, and we have a flood response unit, and different civil defences have additional units within them, like drones. Civil defence relies solely on volunteerism, so the organisation wouldn't exist if it wasn't for volunteers. Michelle and I, we are the paid employees, and our job is just to make sure that there are enough volunteers, that they're trained adequately, that we look after and procure goods and services. But the volunteers themselves are the ones that are most valued within the service.
Yeah, the volunteers give up their time to attend training to make sure that the training is up to date, and they also give up all their time to attend duties and to help others in times of need.
Well, COVID has changed the way civil defence practices. Our duties, our normal duties have changed, and we've gone to an emergency response in support of the HSE. So we've done an awful lot. I think for me, in particular, the supporting the elderly and vulnerable people, taking them to hospital or their doctors, or just getting their food and their medical supplies. That's been really rewarding because we've built a lot of relationships that have lasted throughout the 2 years. And I suppose we feel like we're helping those people, but we're also making sure that they feel secure in the knowledge that, you know, they're being looked after as well.
Yeah, we have been able to step in when services weren't available to some people, and to get elderly people, as Catherine said, to and from hospital appointments and long distance hospital appointments. So yeah, it's been fantastic to be able to do that.
We've also delivered hundreds of care packs to different vulnerable groups within the community, and that was particularly rewarding, especially to children with disabilities. I think everybody got something from that. You know, it gives the volunteers a great sense of joy to be able to do something like that.
Yeah.
Well, when we found out we won the award, we were absolutely delighted. Michelle and I, you know, were delighted for not only ourselves but for all the volunteers, because without them we wouldn't have Kilkenny Civil Defence. An awful lot of what they do goes under-noticed, and you know, they don't look for praise, and they give an awful lot of their time. So for somebody to recognise them and say, you know, well done, that's really special, and it's very important to them.
Yeah, it's truly fantastic, yeah, because they put in the hours, they continue their training to make sure they're ready. So to see it get acknowledged is really fantastic.
If you're looking to volunteer with Kilkenny Civil Defence, you know, there's always something for everybody. You really need to look at the time that you have to offer and what your interest is. But get in touch with us. We can send you out information leaflets. We can also talk to you on the phone. You can come and visit us and see if it is for you. It is quite a big commitment, so it's not for the faint-hearted. But as we said earlier, there are lots of different units within the civil defence. So whereas you mightn't like a certain element, like maybe boats, but you have a draw to medical, then that's there for you too.
Yeah, definitely. And the civil defence gives back what you put in. A lot of our volunteers have gone up and trained to be emergency medical technicians. We've some gone on then to become paramedics with the National Ambulance Service. They have their powerboat licences. So there's really a lot to be achieved if you have the interest and the dedication to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of personal achievements. You're right there, Michelle, and which have led to people going on to form new careers from what they've learned within civil defence. So it's a two-way street, but you know there is a big commitment to doing that. But it's rewarding.
Definitely.
Yeah. We'd like to thank first and foremost the volunteers, because without them we wouldn't have been able to do what we've done the whole way through COVID. The community for their continued support, the local authority for their support in the department, but especially the Volunteer Centre and Kilkenny PPN who've put us, who've chose us for this award. You know, we're really, really grateful, and we are really proud of the acknowledgement, and thank you.
The final category of the day, and there's always outstanding individuals. There are so many of them, and so many people involved in the effort during the pandemic. But we have to pick one COVID-19 Local Hero Award. This is sponsored by our friends at McDonagh Junction Shopping Centre. So thanks to Marion and the team there. It's a very special award. So it recognises a person who's made an outstanding contribution to their community throughout the pandemic. The runners-up in this category are: well done, Anne Nolan, volunteer with Community Radio Kilkenny City. Congratulations, Anne. And Mary and Brendan Pearce, known to many of us for their extraordinary efforts. They're volunteers with Kilkenny Helping the Homeless. A big congratulations to Anne, Mary and Brendan for their remarkable work. But the overall winner of the COVID-19 Local Hero Award, I wish we had a drum roll now. This goes to Mary Malloy, and Mary is a volunteer with the Wine Gap Community Centre. Well done, Mary. And let's see what the judges said about Mary. She's passionate about helping others. She makes a difference all the time, whether it's just popping in with homemade produce or goods, or donating a polytunnel to support and encourage the start-up of new groups. Congratulations, Mary. We're absolutely delighted for you. So enjoy the celebrations.
Hi everyone, this is Kevin Burrows. I'm the manager of the Wine Gap Community Centre in County Kilkenny. Just a quick few words about Mary Malloy, who has been an amazing volunteer for the centre since it started. Mary gives her time freely. She's always the first one to come back into the centre if we're short of staff or short of volunteers. Mary actually gave us a polytunnel so that we could go ahead with the community garden. So that just sums Mary up really. She's always thinking about others, always thinking about the community. And that's why when we had the vote to put forward the local hero for the volunteering awards, Mary was the overwhelming winner of that. So I'm very proud of Mary, and we all love her to bits, and we're so proud of her. Thank you ever so much, Mary, for all you do, and enjoy your evening.
My name is Mary Malloy, and I'm involved with the Wine Gap Community Development Company, particularly in the Lakeside Tea Rooms. Wine Gap community is a very vibrant community. It always has been, and more so now with the new community centre. We have lots of activities which are now centred here for the parish of Wine Gap and Tullahocht, because they're combined parishes. And we cater for hurling, football, badminton, handball, camogie, and any celebration is held here. And also for families who are bereaved, we have a facility whereby we can cater for them in the hall. And everybody pitches in. and helps out in all. I am now 73, and I just felt I would like to do something within the parish. And when there was meetings being held to establish the tea rooms, I attended, and from then on I've been involved. I really enjoy it. I look forward to coming down. There's great fun in the kitchen, and we have a great group of volunteers, and everybody gets on. And I just get satisfaction from being able to do the front of house, which I was scared of when I started, food prep, and the place that likes me best is the dishwasher, loading and emptying. When I was nominated, I got the letter stating I was a finalist, which I thought that was grand. I'd go to the ornament and I'd be sitting down and somebody else would walk up. And when I was told that I had actually won, I was total shock. Anybody who wants to volunteer, probably the best advice is to find something that they really want to do and just go for it. You know, we've had students for the summer. They're great. They volunteer, and I'm sure it helps them later on when they have a CV to fill out. And we have one volunteer now who came into the parish in June and wanted to meet people. She's on her own, and she volunteers and enjoys the tea rooms. Yeah, I would love to thank everybody. I'm not going to name any particular person, but everybody in the tea rooms, the committee, have all been brilliant. So it's thanks to them that we are where we are, and that's why the tea rooms is now flourishing.
Cathaoirleach of Kilkenny County Council, Councillor Fidelis Doherty, is with us, and there's great reason to celebrate Fidelis. We have revealed the winners and some very worthy recipients out there. Amazing volunteer-led efforts, groups, organisations, people, Fidelis, and stories behind it. You must be very proud of them all.
You use the key word there, Emer, people. You don't have communities without people, and you don't have people without communities. One kind of feeds off the other, and volunteerism is just so important to keep communities alive. And while not everyone engages in being part of a community, they still appreciate everything that's been done, like tidy towns and residents groups and civil defence, all of the different communities, and keeping people together and supporting them, and never more so needed than now.
There's a lot of people as well, Fidelis, that like having the backseat role. They don't want to be the chairperson of the committee, maybe the secretary or the treasurer, but they're really crucial when it comes to community projects. They're the ones that maybe get up early in the morning, put the cones out or whatever it may be, bake the buns. And it's wonderful that people take on a role, however small, and it'd be lovely to see more young people involved as well.
Yeah, you're right. Some people like to be the chairperson. That's great. If you're a good chairperson, that's great. If you have a good secretary, that's great. You need PRO people, you need people to mind the money. But you also need that community of committee members who will work with you, alongside you. When there's an event happening, you say, Emer, can you do this for me? Or such a person, will you do that for me? And you know you can ask them, because you can't do everything yourself, and you should want to involve people as well. But
that's it.
Yeah.
Finally, Fidelis, you must be delighted as a proud South Kilkenny woman. You always fly the flag for Glenmore and the South. It's great to see towns, lands, rural villages, areas in South Kilkenny being awarded as well.
Yeah.
We've heard about, for instance, the Ferrybank allotment project. And when you're going as far as the border, sometimes you don't maybe get as much TLC as other areas. So it's wonderful to see the efforts being recognised.
It is, and it's important that people engage in that as well too, that there is a process there, that you shouldn't feel at the end of the county. Yes, we are very much, you're right, like from our kitchen window, I'm looking straight into Wexford, and without exaggerating. You look that way a little bit, you can see the spire on the church in Tramore. We're quite right down. But if people get involved, there's that support there. The PPN offers that support, and that it's there. But they mightn't always be aware of it. Kind of way. So.
You'd encourage them to get involved.
Yeah, but it's to know that it's there as well too, and people kind of get tied up with needing to form a committee. But if you don't form a committee, you won't go that journey that you really need to go.
But there are communities rallying around despite those challenges. We've heard about Wine Gap, for instance, and there are great areas that no matter what is happening, they're fighting back.
Yeah,
they're giving back to the areas.
And it's something you've spoken about a good few times as well, and about rural Ireland dying. And I was in Billy's tea rooms yesterday. I said, right, I'll make a little visit into
Great spot.
Yeah, oh, it's so lovely. You could live there. It's lovely. It's just so lovely, you know, and just looked after, and it was just lovely. People there having their morning breakfast and a cup of tea or a bit of cake, and it's so well done. It's just a real model now. It's lovely.
Well done to them. Thanks so much for being with us and for honouring all the communities in County Kilkenny.
And just say a big thank you to all of them. You know, they do so much for the community, and take your applaud, and we applaud you here tonight.
Hi, I'm Selena from the Kilkenny Volunteer Centre. On behalf of the team at the Volunteer Centre and Kilkenny PPN, we would like to thank you for joining us for the inaugural Kilkenny Community and Voluntary Awards. These awards have been a celebration of volunteerism and a celebration of community and voluntary groups and community and voluntary contributions across County Kilkenny. Firstly, we would like to thank everybody who submitted nominations. We have been so inspired hearing about the amazing work being carried out by groups and volunteers across Kilkenny, and we genuinely believe that everybody is equally deserving of recognition here tonight. We would like to thank our sponsors, our 8 category sponsors and our 2 headline sponsors, Kilkenny County Council and the Department of Rural and Community Development, for helping make these awards possible. We would like to extend a very warm thank you to our judging panel, who had the difficult task of adjudicating these awards. The standard of nominations was incredibly high, and the accomplishments and achievements of the community and voluntary groups and volunteers nominated has been truly remarkable. So thank you to the judges who had the very unenviable task of selecting our runners-up and our category winners. Finally, I'd like to extend a huge heartfelt congratulations to our category runners-up and of course our category winners. And I'm sure everyone will agree that they are very, very deserving of their accolades. Thank you very much, and we wish you all a safe, healthy and happy Christmas.
To close, we'd just like to say once again, well done to everybody involved. It's been an extraordinary time for all of you. I just wish we were able to celebrate in person. I'm sure we'll be able to do that again. It's nice to have a spotlight on our communities and to focus on the amazing and positive stories that are out there. Please keep up the good work, folks. Fon Slán agus Béimid ar fad le chéile a ríis sa todhchaí tá súla guinn.